this purple. I feel like we've been just purple. There we go. We look more cohesive.
Purple.
People say that we look like we're in the same room.
Which I love.
Which I know.
Kind of. What?
And we're both wearing green right now. That wasn't even planned.
Comfy green shirts?
Yeah.
An episode about sleep?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. It does in my mind. Because green is peaceful, and green is soft, and green is sleepy.
Speaking of green, I literally was just having this thought before we got on. And I was having, you know when you have an argument in your head?
Yeah.
I do it all the time.
What were you arguing
but I was
about?
coming up with an argument on behalf of millennials because millennial green is a thing. But I've been on the green train, and we've been on the green train for like years. Like,
wait, what's millennial green? What color? What shade is millennial green?
It's like you know the cabinets that I had in my first place that I had, and that was like 5 years ago now, 4 years ago.
That's crazy. That's
but long. It was like it's like that green. It's like kind of like this green,
sagey.
Maybe a little darker, like a sagey. But it's just green in general. It's just green in general, and that millennials are all using green, which I'm like.
We love.
And in my head, I was like, screw you! Like green makes me happy, and it's a mellow color, and it's been my favorite color for a long time. And everybody's hating my iPad's green. My everything's. I love green.
I love green. I want to know why we're both wearing colors of kitchens that we had or have.
We are, because your kitchen is literally the color of your shirt.
This is the color of my kitchen.
So we're so millennial because
oh my god, you
green kitchens. But we were doing it before everyone else. Okay.
Literally way before. My kitchen's been millennial green or has been green for like 3 years.
Yours isn't millennial green though. It's like literally the color of your shirt. It's like a nice like punchy
foresty
green.
Yeah. It was
nice.
called like rainforest explosion.
Yeah, it's like I like it a lot.
I like
think
your color, muted.
Yeah, I like it too, but now I'm like I like colors. Like I want to like blue I feel like is too close to gray, which millennial gray was a real thing and I never liked gray.
Gray and beige houses.
It's cold. It's cold. Like a nice deep like punchy blue is nice, but like a gray blue, I don't really like that. Yellow's a little bit too loud. Yeah, navy's nice. Yellow's a little too loud. A nice moody purple's nice, obviously. I don't know.
I like black kitchens.
Black
kitchens
dope.
With the natural live edge wood counters.
Yeah. Butcher block. Yeah.
That's like my next house, I think, is black with that live edge.
That's hot.
We sound so old right now, by the way.
Yeah,
we sound like millennials.
I know.
You're barely a millennial.
I know. It's kind of fun
because
I can cross over the line, over the border. I'm like, oh yeah. Like that's like if I'm hanging out with some Gen Zs, I'm like, they're crazy. And then I'm with the millennials, I'm like, these kids. Because I'm 96.
You claim millennial more, I think. Like you seem more millennial than
Caleb calls me out all the time. I'm like making office references or like, you know,
I
painting
like it,
everything
though.
green.
Like, seriously, like us, we're getting older. Let's own it. I'm coming to peace with it. No more Botox, no more fillers. This is just my face. Let's just be us.
Can't we just all get along? Who the
Can we all just
cares?
I want to look like a ball sack. I want to look like a ball sack.
I can't wait, honestly. I can't wait to get to the point where I'm just like, I don't give a like
where like makeup doesn't sit well, so you just stop wearing it.
So you just stop. Yeah. Speaking of stop wearing as well, sorry I'm segueing so much. I just got because I love how I mean I know Pamela Anderson has had work done and everything, but I think she looks so good without makeup. So I'm trying not sponsored at all, but I'm trying like her. She came out with like a skincare line, which I fall for it. I am like
I'll buy that.
I fall for everything. I like to try it myself to see, but I have really sensitive skin and
same.
Like I usually use like Aveeno and I don't know, but it's like Sansi but I really like the lip gloss.
Your lips are popping right now.
It's nice. It's really nice. And then there's like a serum and just this like gentle foam cleanser. So far,
where do you get it?
So far, so good. Online. Yeah.
I'm gonna place an order,
so
bitch.
I've only used it for like a week, but I like it so far. Don't make me make you buy it. It's also steep.
Is it? How much is it?
I'd have to look again, but I remember looking at it. I was like, it's not like insanely bad, but it's why can't everything's so expensive? Dude.
I like The Ordinary or is it The Ordinary where it's just like everything is just like $12, $24? Like cool.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think that's the one where it's like pretty reasonably priced.
I like La Roche-Posay. Is it La Roche-Posay?
La Roche is great.
Because I have eczema and the doctor like prescribed it for me and I started using it and I'm like, I'm not as bad.
I literally posted an actual ad today, but I literally have this on my desk. Aveeno.
You look like you jack off.
I do. No, I totally do. I'm obsessed with moisturizing, but it's for sensitive, dry skin, and I'm just like I am bad. I probably have such. I'm gonna moisturize right now.
Slowly in front of the camera.
Again, not sponsored in this video, but I genuinely do use it. But I feel like I'm just making myself more reliant on moisturizer. I think it's all a conspiracy now, but I'm still gonna use it.
Probably. I started rubbing snail secretion on my face.
Yeah, I did that for a while.
Was it worth it? I've been doing it. I feel like my skin feels like every once in a while I'm like, because I feel like my skin feels tight and new.
Dude, I don't know. I like to trick my skin. I'll use like a bunch of different stuff. Like everybody's like, "What's your skincare routine?" I'm like, chaos.
Chaos.
Okay, some days nothing. I'm like, no, you're getting nothing today, and you'll figure it out. And then other days I'm like, we're gonna like lather you in snail secretion. Yeah, yeah, and like, I don't know.
That's hilarious.
I feel like the best thing would be to just do what dudes do and just not do anything. Probably stop wearing makeup.
I get so pissed. Like, dudes get older, they look regal, they get sexy, and it's like women do not get the same luxury.
No.
Some women do. Some women look hot as but then I feel like I will be milk or bread. Like, I will go bad.
Yeah, the 99.9% white's I'm gonna be milk. For sure.
Milk. Have you noticed any aging in your face? Like, anything where you're like, that's different than it used to be? I have 2 lines right here. They're like 2 deep little lines on the side. I'm like, where'd you come from?
Maybe it's just because I don't look that hard. But I don't know. I feel like maybe the lines here, like I have little lines here that are maybe more pronounced. And then just like slightly under my eyes a little more pronounced. Like if I smile, I have, but like not enough for me to be like, oh, I need a 30-year-old facelift.
Dude, I see people doing face. It's crazy because I see people, they're like, oh, I'm 35 and I'm having my first facelift. But then you see it after and you're like, oh, I need a facelift. I need one right now.
But it's bad because, and I'm just saying what I'm hearing on the internet, but it's bad because then you don't have, like, when you're 60 and you probably want another one, or 70 or whatever, you can't, or like it's extremely difficult because you've already like used up that skin that they pulled back or whatever. So, I don't know.
Hold on as long as you can.
I'm gonna hold on as long as I can, if not just forever. But who knows? I don't know what's gonna happen 30 years from now. I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe we'll be dead. Maybe the Earth will explode and it'll all be over.
Did you hear about the aliens?
No. Tell me. I'm excited.
Caleb always like just at night when we're almost about to go to bed, he's like,
just simulates.
Did you know the mothership's coming? I was like, what? Apparently, there is a comet coming, a comet that is over 7 billion years old, that is smooth around its surface, which is quite literally basically impossible, moving at like a speed that's impossible, at a trajectory that's impossible, and at around late October, November, this comet or a meteor or ship is going to go behind the sun so we can't track it anymore, which is like what ships in like warfare do, like before they attack. Like this, there's crazy stuff online right now. It's like there's one scientist just being like, this is not normal. The probabilities of this is 0.000001. Like it's actually insane. So I went down the rabbit hole last night with Caleb and I was like, what the like what's happening?
How big is this thing?
Oh yeah, so it's about 10 kilometers long, and it's also huge, which doesn't make sense either with how old it is. I probably have the measurements
sort of like
wrong.
Burned up a bit, like it should have been smaller by now.
Yes, smaller and just super deformed because it should be like hitting stuff, but it's like smooth. The surface area is weird, and there is gas present, but there is. Yeah, I think there's gas present, but there's no water or something. Like, it's just all these things that don't make sense. And I'm like, okay. But then also in my head, I'm like, are they just trying to distract us again? Are they just trying to distract us? Is this what they're being like? Because all this stuff's coming out about the government and all this stuff. So they're like, oh yeah, there's a mothership coming in late October and November. So focus on that right now. And there's definitely not PDF aisles in the government. I don't know. I'm literally going crazy. I just want to shut off.
No, dude, there's like 100 year span that you and I are going to be here. Look at how much shit has happened in this. I know it's not 100 years, but think of this like 80 years we're here. The amount of shit that's already gone down. Stop. Let me die. Do all your weird shit later. Let me live my life and die.
Why
okay?
now, dude? Come in like 100 years when I'm gone. Maybe 200, so at least my kids can hang out.
Screw the great-grandkids, but like...
Yeah, what? I don't know,
What
dude. And then, yeah, I don't know. It's just a lot. I mean, go through the rabbit hole if you want to. Sorry I brought it up, but I'm just talking about current events.
I've wondered why I've had so much anxiety lately. I just knew something was up, Chris.
It just never stops. It's like, oh, yeah, everybody's government's all this, which, we know. And then now their mothership's coming, and they've been probing all the planets because it's gone past every other planet and, like, gone into their atmosphere. And they're like, they're probing the planets. They're getting ready. I'm like, what?
Probing what?
For what?
Probing what?
I don't know. I don't know. But then every other scientist besides this one is saying that it's just a meteor. It's just a really old meteor. And I'm choosing to believe them.
Yeah.
Because
fall in the ocean.
Stay with me. I'm going to sound insane. I'm going to sound so insane right now. But I think, this is what I think.
Okay.
I think all these other scientists are saying it's an old meteor. But then there's this one scientist who's saying it's not. And I think the masses will probably believe this one scientist, which I think the government's banking on because they know we don't trust them now. So I think he might be getting like paid by the government or something like that.
Say it's
you know what I'm
crazy?
saying? It's like reverse psychology. I don't know, but I don't like it.
That or he knows the truth and is trying to tell everybody, and now he's gonna wind up dead.
Or that.
There's nothing other than those two scenarios.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Next week,
but
next
stay
week's
tuned.
episode,
October,
we'll
November, we might all get destroyed by the mothership. I have no idea.
I'm gonna have a newborn. I don't want to be destroyed by the mothership.
That's what I was thinking. I literally, the first time when he said that last night, I was like, my best friend and my sister are just about to have babies. What is happening right now?
What the?
Can we not?
Can we not? Anyways. Today we're doing a sick episode on sleep. Total opposites. We got to do it on aliens now. Wipe it. Let's get back to the doc. Let's make an alien doc. We'll do it next time. That's a good idea. We'll do a full alien episode next time.
Yeah, we could totally do that. But yeah, this will definitely keep you up at night. So, but we'll talk about sleeping, so maybe that'll help.
Dude, end of the world shit. I'll never forget 2012. Everybody thought that the world was going to end. I was at a camping ground with Adam. We wake up to air raid sirens. Like, wow, wow, wow. And I slap Adam. He's like, oh my God. We get up. We're freaking out. We're going out. We're like, what is it? What is it? There was a storm and they were calling the boats in. But I thought it was it. I thought this was the end.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know what it is. I feel like they all come along at the most convenient times.
Yeah.
To cover up other stuff. I don't know that. I feel like aliens have to be real at this point because...
Oh, aliens are real. I'll never forget Valerie the psychic. She kind of said I was an alien. I was like a starseed or some shit. I don't know what that means, but I'll take it. I said that. And then we also said that's why my body's weird and I have high blood pressure because I'm not supposed to be in this meat sack.
I like that.
So, Chris, do you sound crazy anymore? No, because I do.
I like all the conspiracy theories. Also, I really need something sweet right now. I just ate lunch, so I'm going to be eating Rainbow Sour Boys.
Pass me one of those. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't have any.
I'm sorry. I gotta get you some. I'll send you a box.
I'll buy some. Buy you Sour Boys. You see this right now? They make 4 flavors every month, and they are the coolest looking packages in the whole entire world. This episode is brought to you by Sour Boys. Visit sourboys.gg.
Sour.gg,
right? Sour.gg.
That's
okay. I
should
know this.
It's all good.
But no, I thought it'd be really fun. I find sleep so scary. Scary stuff happens when we sleep. And I thought it'd be really cool to talk about some sleep disorders. We're also going to play a little bit of 2 truths and a lie when it comes to sleepwalking scenarios I've been in. So we'll see if you know the truth. But first, let's talk about different types of sleep disorders.
Okay.
All right, you got the first one. You got sleep paralysis.
Can you take it? I'm chewing.
Yes. Okay, we'll switch. I'll be blue for this one.
Okay.
Okay, so we have sleep paralysis. You wake up, but you can't move, you can't scream, and you are frozen. You're frozen in place while shadowy figures, a hag or a demon, looms at the edge of your bed. This is not a nightmare. You are conscious, trapped between sleep and wake, unable to escape the hallucination. Have you ever had that?
Yes. When I was younger.
What's it like?
When I was younger, I had horrible. I still only have nightmares. I don't really dream. Like, have nice dreams. I just have
You don't
nightmares.
have nice dreams?
Never.
Mine are always fun. I dreamt that I went to the bathroom at the front of my house and I opened the door and there was a dead man on the toilet, but no one knew where the dead man came from and we didn't really care.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's like that where it's like creepy, but it's not, nothing's necessarily bad happening. Did I tell you about a few nights ago when Caleb had to wake me up because I like stopped breathing and I was crying?
No.
Oh, well, this is perfect.
Good.
So yeah, it was a few nights ago, and I have we both have nightmares like every single night. But he said he had told me what was happening because obviously I was unconscious. But I'll reenact what was happening and then I'll tell you about the dream. So I was like this. I was just on my side and I was like. So I was doing that in my sleep, and Caleb is listening to me. I was also awake like minutes before. Like, it's one of those times, and that's why I have my worst nightmares is when you wake up really early in the morning and then you fall back asleep. You have that REM nightmare fuel. So that was happening, and he starts shaking me awake. He's like, Christina. He's like kissing me. He's making sure I'm okay. He's like, you're okay. And I was like tears rolling down my face. I was like, it took me like a couple minutes to come back to reality. It was actually insane. The dream was me and Caleb in a truck or a Jeep or something, and there are killer wasps, killer bees in Texas and like
I've seen
everywhere.
Them.
Yeah, like they're crazy and they have like swarms. They've killed horses here and some people and everything, and I don't know why, but. So in my dream, they were this big. They were huge, like the size of a small dog. And you could hear a swarm of them behind us in the car. And he rolled the windows down in the dream. And I was like freaking out. I was like, what do you do? And also, bees are my biggest fear. I'm more scared of them than spiders or anything like that. I got attacked by wasps and stuff when I was a kid. So, but anyway, so that he was rolling down the windows and I was like screaming at him in the dream. I was like, roll them up. And then one of the bees came beside him here, and then it went in front of him, and I thought it was going to kill him, so I was freaking out. But then it came and landed on my shoulder, and I was like, Caleb, grab it, please. And then I felt the stinger slowly going into my back. Like, I felt the sting. You ever feel stuff in your dream?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm like, what was happening? So I was feeling it going to my back. I was like screaming and crying and telling him to get it off, but he just wasn't answering. And I looked over and he wasn't in the car, and I was about to go off a cliff.
It's everything going wrong.
Yes, and then he woke me up right before I was about to go off the cliff. I was like, what the
How'd you abandon me like that?
Yes, I was like low-key mad at him when I woke up.
Yeah.
So anyway.
That's insane.
That happened.
Well,
I know you sleepwalk and stuff,
breathe.
but that's just that was my one thing.
When they're that real too, and you were like, you're not aware that like this is irrational of a dream, and you're just like, you're in it. It is so real. Adam has them sometimes, and for him, he does like, Adam's like such a chill dude. Like, you don't expect him to yell or anything.
Yeah.
But he'll just go, like a demon, like a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
And I was smack. I'm like, you're fine. Caleb's kissing your face. I'm just like, wake the up, you're annoying.
Yeah, I was like, well, I have to have nightmares like that more often. It was really sweet how he woke me up.
What are your dreams normally like? Like, even the ones like, you say mostly nightmares, but like, are they just insane? Because mine are just insane, rapid fire craziness.
Yeah, it's like AI. Like, when you watch those AI videos and they change like on a dime. That's what it's like.
The one where they're feeding animals through the windows.
Yes,
and they just turn into cake.
Yes, exactly.
So funny.
Dude, every time I see that, I'm like, well, this is like my nightmares. Like, and one I had the night before that one. Oh, it's so bad. I don't even know if I should say it. But I don't know. I had a baby.
My dad has a dream he won't tell me about.
Yeah, it's right. I remember you said. But I hate the ones where I have a baby because I get like attached to the baby because my dreams feel like a lifetime.
Yeah,
get attached to the baby, having it, and then the baby was choking. And I was trying to like smack it on the back at the whatever was happening, and then it turned black and blue, and I was freaking out. And then there's a man outside my door holding a different baby, and then he did some terrible things like to it while I was watching, and then I looked down and my baby was gone. And then I something happened where I woke up, but it felt like eternity, and then I had to mourn a child I never even had. Those are the worst ones.
Ooh, I've had dreams like that during the surrogacy journey where like except I'm always pregnant, but I'm always pregnant in my thighs, which is weird. And then I give birth through my feet, like it comes down my leg. And then I like have him, but he doesn't have legs. He's like a mermaid baby, but like he looks the same every time, and he always dies. Every dream. But like it's so weird that we dream about these
things. That is. Well, you know what? My mom always had dreams like that when she was about to have me, when she was pregnant with me. She had a dream about my mom. My mom had a dream about holding Jessica, my older sister, in water. Like she was saving her from drowning. And then I was off in the distance drowning as a baby. So she tried to get to me, and she would have that reoccurring dream all through her pregnancy and even after.
That's horrible.
But I think it's just normal for women to, it's the worst case scenario, you know?
Yeah.
It's terrible though. It's terrible. And then it takes like, I'm sad for like a couple hours after I wake up.
Yeah. Baby stuff. And we've even talked about this lately because I'm transparent with it. I've had weird mental healthy vibes going on lately. And I think it's just, I'm very fearful PTSD of everything that I've been through with this baby coming. I just want him to get here safe. And I just fear. And that's the thing. Like, it's crazy how it builds up and it comes out in such weird ways.
I know.
Comes out in dreams, comes out in your reactions to other people. Like, it's just freaking weird.
It is.
But yeah, dreams are strange. We talked a lot on sleep paralysis.
Yeah, sorry.
Wait, what did you see when you were a kid? What was it that you saw for your sleep paralysis?
Oh, right. Let's get back there.
Yeah.
It was always like it wasn't a man, it wasn't a woman. It was just always a dark figure, like a demon, like black, almost like a shadowy kind of thing. But it would always be like just far enough. It never touched me, but it would always be like in the corner of my room or like in the dark. Yeah, and it would just stay there. It would never like come at me, but I would just be scared. And it felt like my hands were tied to my side. And those are the times when I would actually wake up like screaming and stuff.
Yeah. It's so strange. Mine, I never felt scared. Mine, I don't really know if I've actually experienced true sleep paralysis, but I would wake up and I'd have this moment where I was just very aware that there was a woman standing between my two closets. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't a scary feeling. It was just I knew she was there, which is strange.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. Yeah. Maybe it was a ghost.
Well, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Because I haven't seen her my whole life, but I saw her in that house, my old house, which, by the way, I went to my old house that I grew up in, which I've always told those people's story. They were one of the founders of the town that I lived in. They had a cabin that was built where my house was built. My first ghost, Mary Agnes Nellis, was their daughter who died of scarlet fever. I went to them, left them a envelope in their mailbox, and offered them $1,000 to let me film a ghost hunt video there. They didn't write me back.
Really?
And I had to explain to them like about the house and everything. But like I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. Like I don't know them. I don't know anything about them. So like for them to find out, because like the neighbors know, the whole neighborhood knows about that house. Mm-hmm. So somebody would have told them, and they probably didn't want it like blown up all over the internet or something. But I wouldn't have shown the outside. I just wanted to go see Mary.
That's fair. You gotta ask. You don't know if you don't ask.
I'll just walk by one day, be like, "Hey, did you ever get my letter?"
Yeah. Give me my $1,000 back.
You want $1,000?
Give me a refund. Yeah, did they just take the money?
No, I offered it. And then I gave them my number and stuff.
Okay, I thought you like put it in the envelope.
No, but I just thought it would, could you imagine? No.
Oh, wait. Okay, sorry, I'm segueing again. Speaking of haunted houses, Matt Rife bought the fucking Conjuring house.
Matt Rife and Elton bought the Conjuring house.
I just got invited too. The day before that video came out, I got invited to film content there. Yeah, I said no though. I said no. I don't like what's going on right now. I don't like it.
What do you mean?
It's just like, I don't know. It's like he's carrying on the legacy of just like scamming and getting money, just like Ed and Lorraine was.
Well, their house itself isn't haunted. I
know.
so on each end when I think she had a gift. I think she had well intentions, but I think that she also saw the money in it. It's so clear with everything. I went to Salem recently, spoke to her through a medium. She wasn't very nice. Like,
that's what a lot of people say. Or I guess
yeah.
I got invited to the occult museum, but it was supposed to be like in their house. So
in their house.
Objects are, but I don't know. It just all feels icky. It all feels icky to me. So I was like, pass. Pass. I'm excited for the last movie. I love the movies. I don't associate them with real life at all, but I think the movies are great.
I'm curious what they're going to do with it. I'm not like, I don't feel either way about it. I'm so curious what they're going to do. I wonder how they came about it. Like, was it for sale? Did they show up? Because there's a plan there, right? Like,
yes.
I'm curious. I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Well, he's just, it seems like, or whoever, I mean, I know he owns it and co-owns it with somebody else, but I think the plan is to just let people investigate it, like pay to investigate it.
Okay. Well,
so it's a big,
it's a moneymaker.
It's a moneymaker. Which is fine. Whatever, dude. Baby. We all, you want to make money somehow, whatever. And I'm sure a lot of people go for it, but it just, I don't know. It felt like weird. I don't know. It just felt weird. So I was just like, no.
A lot of those objects are apparently some of the most haunted objects in the world, right? And I think, when you go to places are full of things, but objects are like, it's a thing, you know what I mean? And I worry about people with bad intentions going in there and just unleashing that energy on the world.
That's, part of it feels icky, but it also just is scary. So I'm just like, I'm good. I'm
good.
I'm fine. I don't know. Jeez. Anyway, sorry, we went off.
We went off
the rails. There. All right.
But yes.
We'll move on. All right. REM sleep behavior disorder. You don't just
That's what I have.
Okay, yeah. You don't just have violent dreams. You act them out. Kicking, punching, screaming, sometimes attacking your partner. We're also going to get into this later in the doc because we're going to talk about literal people that have killed other people in their sleep. One man leapt out a window in his sleep to escape attackers. This disorder is basically your nightmares spilling into real life. Horrifying.
Yeah, so there's a really long name for what I have, but it's considered a REM sleep disorder. And a lot of people don't understand my sleepwalking. When it happens on its own, it is like crazy. But I do stimulate it because it doesn't happen like it used to when I was a child, because it happened a lot more when I was a child. I have a very strange reaction to melatonin and eating cheese. And sometimes I'm a little bit lucid. Sometimes I am not at all. It's like, and I keep waking up and going back to bed and waking up and going back to bed. And I am like just living experiences. But that's what I have.
I know, it's
But then the next, dude, it's so weird, but like people do crazy stuff. I've woken up in the midst of things and just been like, this isn't right. Why am I outside?
Yeah, so scary.
Yep. And then the next one is sleepwalking, which y'all know I do. You rise in the night, blank-eyed, wandering the halls. You might cook, you might drive, you might leave the house, you might speak in tongues, but you'll never remember. Some have been found in graveyards. Others have committed crimes in their sleep. It is you, but it is not you.
Yep. That's what we're going to talk about later. It's scary. Next, we have night terrors. Unlike nightmares, these strike during deep sleep, usually without dreaming. You might sit bolt upright, eyes wide, screaming in horror, but you won't wake up. And the next day, no memory of the terror, just the echoes of your cries. Yeah, this is what I used to do too as a kid. Like, I had sleep paralysis, but I also would just like wake up screaming.
I babysat a kid who did that, and they're like, oh, if he does it, just take him downstairs and stick his head in the freezer.
Okay.
So he was like 2. He didn't speak, but he'd freak out, and we'd go downstairs, we'd open the freezer, and he would just touch ice.
Just kind of, I guess it's stimulating. Interesting. Weird. Scary.
Next, we have exploding head syndrome. Drifting off, then suddenly, boom! A loud explosion shatters the silence, but no one else hears it. There was no blast, no intruder, just your brain glitching in the scariest possible way. It is not fatal, but it feels like you're dying.
Interesting. I don't know if I've experienced that specifically, but I've woken up many times where I thought it was a noise that happened like in the house. And I'm like, go check that out. Go check that out. And it's like, what?
Nothing. Nothing, baby.
I don't know. All right, next is fatal familial insomnia. This ultra-rare genetic disorder means you literally lose the ability to sleep, and it's fatal. Yeah, no kidding. Victims start with insomnia, then hallucinations, panic attacks, dementia, and eventually death, all while staying painfully awake, a real-life horror story that runs in bloodlines. Horrible.
That's terrible. Can you imagine just waiting for that? You don't sleep a lot, especially when we're traveling.
No, I don't. But my God, I can sleep. I don't have this. Yeah. I wouldn't have kids, man. Why would you continue that nightmare? That waking nightmare.
Bloodline.
Stop the bloodline. What? Crazy.
Yeah. Next we have sexomnia. You engage in sexual behavior while fully asleep without consent or awareness. Whispering dirty things, self-touching, even initiating intercourse. It is rare, but when it happens, it can feel like your body is being possessed by something dark.
Has this happened to you?
I've groped at him while sleepwalking. Yeah. Yeah, there's some I
feel like everyone's had to have had like there's having a naughty little dream, and then there's like, you know,
aggression.
Yeah. I don't know.
I've pointed at it. I've pointed at Adam's wang and been like, cut it off. In my sleep. Cut it off. Can you imagine you just dead asleep?
Well, we'll get into that later with the true crime stuff I wrote.
I'm excited.
Yeah, or the real stuff. Yeah, interesting.
This is I'm most afraid of this one, dude.
Crazy. Okay, next one. Sudden unexplained nocturnal death syndrome. Yeah, absolutely. Healthy young people, often of Southeast Asian descent, go to sleep and just never wake up. No heart problems, no warning signs. They scream in their sleep and then die. It's where the nightmare kills you trope began and inspired A Nightmare on Elm Street. That's horrifying. Like you actually die.
They have SIDS for adult.
Yeah.
It's sad. Sudden adult death syndrome. You just die. This woman was posting about it in a group, and she said that her son and her son were driving in the car. He was 25 years old, and he just went, something's not right. And then he just went and died.
Like it has to be from something like a brain aneurysm or something?
No. They did a full nothing. His heart just stopped.
What the I mean, it has to happen. There's so many people in the world. It has to happen to some people. It's horrifying, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Like, I always say, when I woke up after I was, like, screaming and Caleb woke me up, I was like, that's the first thing I said. I was like, I wonder if people, when they die in their sleep, if they actually are having a nightmare and something horrible happens and they actually die. Like, if they die in the nightmare, they die. That's because your brain, but maybe it's a dream, though, too, because your brain just emits so much, what's it called? It's a drug. DMT when you die. It's like it's like a coping mechanism.
You're tripping balls.
So
when
I'm assuming you just trip balls. Yeah. I hope so.
That'd be funny. You just don't even know what's going on. Next up is the confusional arousals. You wake up, but your mind doesn't. You speak gibberish. You attack loved ones. You stare into the mirror, not recognizing yourself. You're awake, but your brain isn't, and sometimes you say things you don't remember.
I feel like that's pretty close to sleepwalking.
It sounds like it.
That's what my little sister used to do that all the time.
What was the scariest thing she did?
Not scary. Scary. Just like she would never walk around. Like I walked around and stuff and did stuff. Yeah. But she sleeps so much. She sleeps like 12 hours a night. It's crazy, and she can nap.
She still does that?
She still sleeps a lot. Yeah. She doesn't have a condition or anything. It's weird. But she'll wake up and she'll be like looking at you, and you'll be like, okay, let's do it. And she'll just like stare at you. She'll like groan, or she'll like talk, but gibberish, like, and you're like, Alyssa, wake up. Like you're like saying, wake up. And she's like, it's just so weird. It's like, frustrating. Like, are you awake or not, bitch? Like, what's happening?
Wake the up. No, that's crazy.
Weird.
No, it's just spooky. It's spooky when you know someone's not being themselves. Like they're being different than themselves.
Yeah, it's creepy. Sleep is it's really creepy. I also love it though. Like when I would have sleep paralysis during that time, I figured out how to get out of it, and that's I never had it after. But then I started to lucid dream. Lucid dreaming was awesome, and I can still do it.
I have books on it back there.
Yeah, I can still do it, and usually that's how I get out of my nightmares. But like,
good. It's weird when you're having a nightmare and you're aware you're having a nightmare, but you're also like, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, for sure. Like, actually, though. Like, you can kind of take control and you're like, I'll be all right.
Changes narrative.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have Sleepwalking Selena. So my sleepwalking, 2 truths and a lie. So 2 of these are true and 1 of these is a lie. I have 2 cents for you.
Okay.
I sleptwalk and woke up naked in the shed. I sleptwalked into my neighbor's house and took everything out of their pantry. And I sleptwalked and opened every single present under the Christmas tree.
Oh.
Which is the lie.
The second one would be fucking crazy. I've never heard about this. This first one sounds very plausible, very Selena Core sleepwalking. Mm-hmm. The third one I also don't know, but also sounds very plausible. The second one is absolutely insane if it's real, and I feel like it is, but I'm going to say it's the second one.
You're right, that's the lie.
Okay.
I didn't go to my neighbor's house.
Thank God.
No. Okay, next one. I sleptwalk and rearrange the basement couches. I sleptwalk and used a Sharpie as makeup. And I sleptwalk and woke up in my neighbor's car.
Ooh, what? Again with the neighbor's car. Would you bring up neighbors twice? No, I'm just trying to read you. Permanent marker would suck, but would make sense. Rearranging furniture would make sense, so. But you could just walk into your neighbor's car if they didn't close it. Permanent marker makeup.
Nope, I didn't rearrange couches in the basement.
Really?
I did makeup. And when I was in my neighbor's car, I was naked.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, people do crazy stuff in their sleep, but one of the craziest things that people do is astral project.
Yeah.
Have you heard about this?
Yes.
Yeah, so it is the idea that while your physical body is resting, your consciousness or your astral body can separate and travel outside of yourself. You might float above your bed, drift through walls, visit distant places, or even cross into different dimensions. Some say it is naturally happening during deep meditation or near-death experiences, or most commonly, during sleep.
Mm-hmm. And what is it like? Well, some describe it as floating above their bed, looking down at their own sleeping body. Others say they've traveled to other places, seen people they know, or met spirit guides. There are even claims of people meeting other astral travelers on the same journey, but not all of it is peaceful. It's like VR chat, seems like.
Exactly. There's drama, and it has a dark side. Some report being chased by entities, feeling like they're being watched, or hearing whispers and voices while out of body. There are tales of people unable to get back in, or being met by something that tries to take their place. There's the theme of Insidious right there.
Mm-hmm.
That is why some practitioners emphasize protection rituals before attempting it. Crystals, prayers, white light visualizations, because they believe if you are leaving your body open, something else might want in.
That's horrifying, but is it real? Well, specifically, astral projection is often chalked up to lucid dreaming, disassociation, or REM sleep disruptions. But for those who've done it, it's more real than real. Whether it's your brain or your soul, one thing's for sure, it's one of the most bizarre and unexplained experiences people can have during sleep.
So the next time you wake up and feel like you have been somewhere else, maybe you didn't just dream it. Maybe you left.
You've done that, right?
You saw the massage table that I put out. I actually had to put it away before we started this. I do this thing, okay? I go on this bed and Adam like touches my body. Not in a weird way, like a massage wise, just to like let me disconnect.
Yeah.
And I go to this place and I go talk to my spirit guides and I talk about stuff that I want. And that is me. I astral project to this place where I believe my spirit guides are.
Yeah.
And I do it every week. And I feel like I'm really good at it. And it makes sense because they think people with REM sleep disorders and stuff can do it better.
Yeah.
And I'm practiced with it. But it is something also where I only do it like in here where I have all good vibes. I wouldn't just do it in a hotel room or a place where the energy could be, tampered with.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like you got to be in a safe space.
Yup.
Oh, excuse me. Wow. Can you imagine if she fell asleep during this?
We're just so tired. Have you ever astral projected or?
I don't think so. I think I've just like lucid dream. Like I can take control of my dreams, but I've never like gone anywhere or talked to anyone. Like I've never lucid dreamed to the point of being able to like go and have conversations with people. I just am like, I can actually run now. I don't run in slow motion. Like that kind of stuff. I don't have that ability.
That's really funny. Well, I have two different experiences of people that literally had astral projection experiences.
Ooh. Okay.
So the first we have the traveler who saw someone that they shouldn't have. A woman swears that she astral projected to visit her childhood home in the middle of the night. She was years removed from ever living there, but she drifted in this dreamlike state. She intentionally thought of the old house, and suddenly she was there. She floated above the street and drifted towards the front window. Everything looked exactly how she remembered it, except somebody else was inside. There was a man sitting on the living room couch. She didn't recognize him, but said that he looked directly at her, not through the window, at her. His eyes locked onto hers, and he said, "You're not supposed to be here." She panicked and was instantly pulled back into her own body, jolting awake. Weeks later, she saw a for sale listing of the house online. In the photos, that same couch, that same man. She never told anyone what she saw until now.
Why is there a man in house photos?
I know that's weird.
Is it like those?
But I've seen it, like Facebook, and like they're like, here's the living room. There's a kid.
The mirror pictures, or it's like them in the mirror.
My favorite marketplace thing to do.
That's really creepy. I don't like that. Yeah, I don't even like that. I don't even know what I do. Where did you find these stories?
Google.
I'd tell Google.
Hey Google, I'm sorry, I'm stuck. I need to undo this. It was under the leg of my chair, and every single time I moved back, it was just getting tighter and tighter.
I hate that. It's claustrophobic.
And I was just like, I was losing my headphones at this point.
It's okay. All right, next, the woman who watched her husband sleep. Okay.
I do that every night.
Yeah. Yeah, what's so wrong about that? A woman from Colorado claimed that during a deep meditation session before bed, she felt a violent vibrating sensation in her chest. The next thing she knew, she was floating above her own body, staring down at herself lying in bed, right next to her husband. She floated higher until she was hovering above their bed, able to see the moonlight through the curtains, the faint hum of the fan, and even her husband scratching his arm in his sleep. I have so much saliva in my mouth because I just ate sour candy. She tried to speak, but no sound came out. When she looked to her right, she saw a shadowy figure standing silently in the doorway. She panicked and suddenly slammed back into her body like being pulled by a rubber band. And when she woke up, her heart was racing. She turned to her husband and he said, quote, "You were talking in your sleep. You kept saying, 'Who's there?'" Ooh. Oh, I hate that so much.
Hold on.
I hate it when you've woken up to Adam saying stuff, yeah?
Yeah, I don't like it. He'll be like, "Oh no," he'll yell, or he'll be like, "No, oh no, stop." I'm like,
yeah, Caleb's done it on just a handful of occasions, but I'm like, you better wake the up right now, because I ain't fighting your demons, man.
After Adam's head injury, he got like kind of weird for a bit, and one night he woke up, he was so scared, and I woke him up, and he's like, "Where's the goat head?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "There's a woman in a shroud with a goat head standing beside the bed." And I'm like, "No." And he's like, "No, like I woke up and she was still there for like a millisecond." And I'm like, "Don't say that."
Oh yeah, when you're like still half in the dream and it's like,
I'm like, "It's not real."
It's not real. It's fine. Everything's fine. Weird.
Jeez. But guys, dark things happen in dreams, and even some murders.
Yep. Yeah, I went through. There's 3 different murders. We'll see if we'll definitely cover 2, maybe 3. Okay. They're kind of long, but very interesting cases. This first one is the first court case of using sleepwalking as a defense. So
Damn.
it's pretty interesting, but wrote it like a little story. So yeah, we'll get into it.
Jump in.
This first one is The Rich Boy and the Beautiful Rebel. Picture Boston in 1845. Horse-drawn carriages clattered down cobblestone streets. Gas lamps flickered in the theater district, and proper society lived by strict rules about who could love whom. Into this world stepped two people who should have never met: Albert Jackson Tyrrell and Maria Bickford.
Albert was everything 19th century society admired in a young man. At 22, he was tall, handsome, and wealthy, the son of a successful shoe manufacturer in Weymouth, Massachusetts. Did I say Massachusetts?
No.
Okay.
But it's close, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Nope. Massachusetts. Yeah.
Massive two shits.
Massive two shits.
Sorry, Massachusetts.
His family had money, status, and expectations. Albert was already married with 2 young children, living the respectable life that his social class demanded.
But Albert was restless. The predictable world of dinner parties and business meetings felt like a prison to him. So night after night, he escaped to Boston's darker corners, where the rules were different and excitement lurked around every corner. And that's where he met Maria.
Ooh, Maria Bickford wasn't her real name. She'd been born Mary Ann Dunn in a small Maine town. At 21, she was absolutely stunning, with auburn hair and eyes that could make men forget their promises. But Maria's beauty came with a tragic backstory. She'd once been a young mother with dreams of a simple life, until her baby died and shattered her world.
Grief had driven her to Boston, where she discovered something that would change everything. Her beauty could buy her independence. And by 1845, Maria was one of the city's most expensive ladies of the night, living in an elegant brothel on Cedar Lane and charging prices that only wealthy men could afford.
When Albert first saw Maria, it was like lightning striking. Here was everything his boring married life lacked: passion, danger, and a woman who answered to no one. Within weeks, Albert was obsessed, spending his entire inheritance, a massive $8,000 on Maria, and traveling with her as if they were married.
Yeah, well, he's a piece of shit.
Just
like husbands now that are bored with their wives. Grass is greener. Also, $8,000 in 1845. That's gotta be like...
I'll ask, hold on.
It's gotta be in the well, I don't know. I'm gonna guess like 90 grand or something. 80 grand? I don't know.
Let's find out. That would be considered $250,000.
Okay, I was gonna say 6 figures. Can you imagine? Yeah. $250,000 on a lady of the night.
And how long was this? Within weeks. Within weeks.
Bruh.
He was pussy whipped.
Whipped.
He was pussy slapped.
Yeah, he was pussy beat.
Pussy bludgeoned.
Pussy punched. All the other words. Anyway. But their relationship is built on quicksand. Albert desperately wanted Maria to quit her job and be his alone. Maria, who had fought hard for her independence, refused to give it up for any man. They fought constantly, then made up passionately. Maria once told a friend she actually enjoyed their fights, quote, because we have such a good time making up. Oh, this sounds like just classic toxic relationship.
Toxic.
So toxic.
Oh my gosh. As 1845 wore on, the cracks grew wider. Albert's money was running out, his wife was getting suspicious, obviously, and Maria seemed to be pulling away, maybe getting tired of his jealous demands.
So October 27th, 1845 started like many others. Albert arrived at Maria's boarding house in the evening with his usual gifts and flowers, but something was different this time. Maybe it was the pressure of his mounting debts, or knowing that his double life was about to collapse.
Joel Lawrence, who owned the boarding house, heard the couple arguing in Maria's room. Nothing unusual, since their fights were legendary among the other residents. But as the night wore on, an uneasy quiet settled over the house, and at exactly 5 a.m., a blood-curdling scream shattered the silence.
Lawrence jolted awake, his heart pounding. The scream was followed by a heavy thud that shook the building. Then the sound of something rushing down the stairs. The front door slammed so hard that windows rattled throughout the house. And when Lawrence finally got the courage to check Maria's room, he pushed open the door to find a scene from a nightmare.
Maria lay across her bed in a white nightgown, now soaked in blood. Her throat had been from ear to ear. A wound so deep, her head was nearly decapitated. But the horror didn't stop there. 3 fires had been set around the room. One near the bed, another by the window, and a third near the door. The flames had caught the bedclothes and the curtains before burning out, leaving behind the smell of smoke and charred fabric. This started the greatest manhunt of the 1840s. Within hours, Boston was buzzing with the news of the murder. The brutal offing of a beautiful prostitute had all the ingredients of scandal that would sell newspapers for weeks. The Boston Herald called it the most shocking crime of the century.
Police Captain Henry Hefner led the investigation with surprising efficiency for 1845. Within days, they'd pieced together Albert's movements that night. Witnesses placed him at the boarding house. His personal belongings were found covered in Maria's blood, and most damning of all, he disappeared immediately after the murder.
But Albert wasn't some common criminal. His family's wealth and connections opened up doors that would stay closed to ordinary fugitives. Instead of surrendering, Albert embarked on an epic chase across America.
Using his remaining money and his family's business network, Albert made his way south, staying one step ahead of the law. The manhunt stretched across multiple states as he wound through New York, Philadelphia, and into the South. For months, he lived as a fugitive, constantly looking over his shoulder.
The stress of life on the run began taking its toll. Those who met him described a man aged beyond his years, hollow-eyed and haunted, whether from exhaustion, carelessness, or a secret desire to end his torment. Albert's luck finally ran out in New Orleans.
6 months. New Orleans. 6 months after Maria's murder, a bounty hunter recognized him and made the arrest that would make headlines from Louisiana to Massachusetts. Quote, "The Boston Butcher captured."
Now, this was the trial that changed everything. When Albert was dragged back to Boston in chains, the city was ready for the most sensational trial in Massachusetts history. The prosecution seemed to have an airtight case. A motive, Albert's obsessive jealousy, opportunity, he was the last person with Maria, physical evidence, his belongings were covered in her blood, and consciousness of guilt, his flight from justice. But the Tyrell family had spent their fortune wisely during Albert's months as a fugitive. They hired the most famous defense attorney in America, Rufus Choate. Choate?
I have no idea. Choate?
Call him Chocolate.
Well, yeah, I'm just going to call him Rufus. Rufus was a legend, known as, quote, the Wizard of the Law, for his supernatural ability to mesmerize juries. Standing over 6 feet tall with piercing eyes and a voice that could whisper or thunder, he never lost a murder case. His reputation came from taking impossible cases and winning them through pure eloquence.
Ooh. When the trial began on March 26, 1846, the courthouse was packed. People had lined up for hours to get seats, and those who couldn't get inside pressed against windows trying to see. The press gallery overflowed with reporters from across New England.
As the prosecution laid out their case, painting Albert as a jealous lover driven to murder, it seemed Rufus faced an impossible task. Witness after witness testified to Albert's presence at the scene, his violent arguments with Maria, his suspicious flight, and the evidence was overwhelming. But Rufus had something extraordinary planned, a defense so unprecedented that no one in that packed courtroom could have seen it coming.
When Rufus rose to present his case, the courtroom fell silent. Everyone knew that they were about to witness something remarkable, but no one was prepared for what came next. Quote, "Gentlemen of the jury," Rufus began in his rich voice. Quote, "You've heard the prosecution speak of murder and jealous rage, but I submit to you that Albert Jackson Tyrrell was not conscious when Maria Bickford died. He was asleep. He was sleepwalking, and a man cannot be held responsible for actions committed while his mind sleeps, even as his body walks."
And the courtroom exploded. This was 1846. People barely understood sleep. let alone the idea that someone could commit complex actions while unconscious. It sounded like something from a ghost story rather than a serious legal defense. But Rufus was just getting started. Over the following days, he built a defense unlike anything American law had ever seen. He called witness after witness from Albert's family to testify about his lifelong history of violent sleepwalking.
Albert's cousin told the riveted jury about one incident a month before Maria's murder. Albert had woken him in the middle of the night, yanked him from his bed, and threatened him with a knife while speaking in what he described as, quote, a shrill, trembling voice completely unlike his normal speech.
Ugh. And Albert's sister testified about childhood incidences where he would rise from bed and perform complex actions, like getting dressed, walking through the house, even having conversations, all while fast asleep. And their mother, fighting back tears, described finding 6-year-old Albert standing at an open window in winter, apparently ready to step out into the void.
No!
Yeah.
That's crazy. Most importantly, Rufus brought up Dr. Walter Channing, dean of Harvard Medical School. Dr. Channing testified that a person in a sleepwalking state could indeed, quote, rise in the night, dress himself, commit murder, set a fire, and make an escape. In 1846, this was revolutionary scientific testimony that challenged everything people thought they knew about consciousness.
Mm-hmm. When time came for closing arguments, Rufus delivered what many consider the greatest courtroom speech in American history. He'd promised to be brief, then spoke for 6 straight hours. Imagine 6 hours of somebody...
I'd be gone.
That's insane.
15 minutes in, I'm off.
Oh my God. He said, quote, "Gentlemen," he began, his voice barely above a whisper, forcing everyone to lean forward. "Did any human being see the prisoner strike the blow? No. Did any human being see him with a drop of blood on his hands? No. Did anyone witness the moment when life left Maria Bickford's body? No."
His voice began to rise like a gathering storm. What you have instead is the prosecutor's attempt to build guilt on a foundation of sand. But I ask you to consider the terrible possibility that Albert Tyrell is as much a victim as poor Maria herself. A victim of forces beyond his control, beyond his consciousness, beyond his very awareness. For hour after hour, Rufus wove together medicine, philosophy, and drama, painting Albert as a man tormented by a condition that he couldn't understand or control. He spoke of the mysteries of the human mind, the thin line between consciousness and unconsciousness.
And when he paused for dinner after 5 hours, the courthouse stayed packed, no one willing to risk losing their seat. When he returned for the final 90 minutes, his voice took an almost hypnotic quality. Quote, "If Albert Jackson Tyrell was not present in his own mind when these terrible acts occurred, if his consciousness had fled and left only a walking shell, then how can we hold him responsible? How can we punish a man for crimes committed by sleeping body when his waking mind was absent?"
The jury retired at 4:30 p.m. on March 30th, 1846. Given the complexity of the case and the revolutionary defense, people expected them to deliberate for days. Instead, after less than 2 hours, word came that they had reached a verdict. The courthouse filled with breathtaking speed. Albert sat motionless, showing emotion for the first time since the trial began. Not fear or hope, but the blank exhaustion of someone who had endured more than any human should.
He's just sleepwalking again. He doesn't even know that court happened. Like, what?
6-hour nap. We're done.
Anyway, the foreman rose, his voice shaking. "We find the defendant, Albert Jackson Tyrell, not guilty." Which is crazy. The courthouse erupted in a roar, heard for blocks. Some people cheered, others wept, still others sat in stunned silence. Albert broke down sobbing, the first real emotion he'd shown throughout the entire ordeal.
But the most remarkable thing about the verdict was what it represented. In an age when the understanding of sleep was primitive and unconscious action seemed impossible, 12 ordinary men had been convinced that responsibility required consciousness, that guilt demanded awareness, and that justice couldn't punish a sleeping mind.
Notice there's no women in the jury because it's 1846.
Nope.
No women in sight. Yeah,
they killed a woman. Yeah.
If this was a woman on trial, she would be burned at the stake.
Yeah.
They're like, he's not guilty. He was just sleepwalking. If it was a woman, it would be just like, let's stone her in the streets.
Very chauvinistic today.
Yeah, no shit. So what happened after to Elbert? Well, Elbert walked free from that Boston courthouse, but freedom became its own prison. Though later acquitted of arson charges using the same defense, he was convicted of adultery and served 3 years. Because remember, he cheated on his wife and was dishonest with his kids. He's still a piece of shit. I mean, he's a piece of shit anyway because he literally killed someone. But the only punishment he'd ever receive, this would be the only punishment he'd receive for Maria's death. And the public remained divided. Some saw it as enlightened justice, proof that American law could evolve beyond simple revenge. And others viewed it as a rich man literally getting away with murder through legal tricks.
Most remarkably, Albert showed no gratitude towards the man who saved his life. He actually demanded that Rufus refund his legal fees, arguing that since his innocence was so obvious, the lawyer hadn't earned his payment. Albert faded into obscurity after his release, his name appearing only occasionally in court records, and he died in 1880, taking the truth of what really happened in Maria's room with him. That dude. I hope he went straight to hell.
Right? I know. But the precedent he and Rufus established lived on. For the first time in American legal history, a court had accepted the consciousness wasn't a simple on-off situation. I needed to burp so bad. Wasn't a simple on-off switch, but a complex state that could exist in varying degrees. The sleepwalking defense had been born, setting the stage for legal battles that would continue for centuries.
Dun, dun,
it's interesting, though. What do you think?
I think he killed her. I think he got mad at her that she wouldn't be hers, and then his life was ruined, so he was like, I'm going to ruin your life, and he just sounds like a dick. Especially once I heard about the legal fees. That wasn't obvious. You're a terrible person. It sounds like an American Horror Story episode.
Yeah. I do believe, like, he probably said, like, oh, yeah, I used to sleepwalk and stuff, and then the defense attorney was just like, we're going to spin that shit. And, yeah, I think they used it to their advantage, for sure. For sure. I think. What do you guys think? I'm curious to know. But we do have other cases, too. One more recent and also near you.
Let's get into this.
Ontario.
Okay, we have The Family's Golden Boy, and this is going to take place in 1987.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, Adam was alive. Not me, though.
Yeah. Definitely.
When everything falls apart. Okay. Kenneth Parks looked like he had it all figured out. At 23, he lived in Pickering, Ontario.
Yep, that's why I picked it.
I've been there. With his beautiful wife, Karen, and their baby daughter. He had a decent job as a project coordinator at an electrical company, a nice house, and what seemed like a bright future ahead. But looks can be incredibly deceiving.
Hidden beneath Ken's suburban success story was a gambling addiction that was eating his life alive. What had started as casual poker games with coworkers had spiraled into something monstrous, and Ken found himself making bigger and bigger bets, chasing his losses with even riskier gambles, borrowing money he had no way to pay back.
The hole. By March 1987, Ken's house of cards collapsed completely. He had stolen $30,000 from his employer, money that had vanished into the black hole of his gambling debts. When his bosses discovered the theft, Ken was fired immediately and faced criminal charges that would probably send him to prison. The shame was crushing. Ken felt like he had betrayed everyone who ever trusted him. But there was one bright spot in this dark world: his relationship with his in-laws, Dennis and Barbara Woods.
So from the moment Ken started dating their daughter, Karen, the Woodses had welcomed him like a son. Barbara especially had a soft spot for him, calling him, quote, her gentle giant, a nickname that reflected both his imposing size and his kind, gentle nature. Dennis and Barbara lived just 14 miles away in Scarborough, But they might as well have been next door for how much time the family spent together. Ken had a key to their house and was welcome any time. They knew about his gambling problems, and Karen had told her mother about the growing strain in their marriage, but instead of judging him, they offered support and understanding.
Oh. Ken had actually been planning to drive to their house on May 24th to finally tell them everything. He intended to confess about the embezzlement, the criminal charges, the full extent of his troubles. He hoped that they might help him find out a way forward, maybe even provide some financial help to get back on his feet.
But first, he had to get through his first Gamblers Anonymous meeting on May 20th. So as Ken sat in his car outside the small building that Tuesday evening, watching other broken people make their way inside, he felt like his life was already over at the age of 23. He had no idea in just 3 days his name would be connected to one of the most shocking crimes in Canadian history.
Okay, and this is the night that changed everything. The weekend of May 23rd to 24th, 1987 started quietly. Ken spent his Saturday trying to work up the courage for his planned confession at the Woodses. The weight of his secrets felt crushing, and he knew telling Dennis and Barbara everything was the first step forward to rebuilding his shattered life.
So on Saturday evening, Ken tried watching TV to distract himself from his anxiety. He channel surfed restlessly, unable to focus on anything. Shows seemed to blur together, sitcoms with their fake laughter, dramas that seemed trivial compared to his real problems. News that only reminded him of the criminal charges hanging over his head.
Finally, around 11:30 p.m., Ken dozed off on the couch in front of the television. It wasn't unusual. He'd been doing it more as sleep became hard to find in his own bed, where guilt seemed to press down on him like a weight. What happened next would become the subject of intense scientific study and legal debate for decades.
Sometime in the early morning hours of May 24th, Ken's body rose from the couch, but his movements were slow and strange, lacking the quick purpose of normal walking behavior. To an observer, he might have seemed like someone moving underwater, guided by invisible currents rather than conscious thought. So he walked to the hall closet and put on his shoes and jacket. His car keys were on the kitchen counter, and he picked them up with mechanical precision, like someone following a script written in a language he couldn't read.
The drive from Pickering to Scarborough normally took 20 to 30 minutes. At nearly 2 a.m. on a Sunday morning, the highways were mostly empty except for the occasional truck and late-night traveler. Ken's car moved steadily through the darkness, navigating the complex network of highways and local streets. This journey would later become one of the most controversial aspects of this case. How could someone who was supposedly unconscious successfully drive 14 miles, including highway merges, traffic lights, and the intricate local streets leading to the Woods' neighborhood?
The Woods house sat in a quiet residential street lined with maple trees and well-kept lawns. It was a kind of neighborhood where people knew their neighbors, where kids rode bikes on sidewalks, and where violent crime was almost unthinkable. Ken used his key to enter the house, a key the Woods had given him as a symbol of trust and welcome. The house was dark and quiet, its occupants deep in a peaceful sleep.
He moved through the familiar rooms with confidence of somebody who'd been there countless times. Past the living room where he watched hockey games with Dennis, past the kitchen where Barbara had served him countless meals, and up the stairs towards the master bedroom. But what happened next would transform this house of love into a scene of unthinkable horror.
In the garage, Ken's hands found a tire iron, an ordinary tool that would become an instrument of devastating violence. He returned to the house and made his way to the master bedroom, where Dennis and Barbara lay sleeping. What followed was an explosion of violence so sudden and brutal that it defied understanding. Ken began striking Barbara with the tire iron, and the 60-year-old woman awakened from sleep into a complete nightmare, trying desperately to defend herself. But she was no match for her attacker's size and strength.
Dennis, awakened by his wife's scream, tried to help but was quickly overwhelmed by Ken's size and was also taken down. Despite his age and smaller size, Dennis managed to survive the strangulation, though he was left severely injured.
But Ken wasn't finished. because he would go into the kitchen and return with a knife. And he would do what you do with a knife to Barbara while she was laying on the bed, still dying.
Throughout this horrific attack, Ken showed no recognition of his victims, no emotional response to their pleas. His actions were methodical but not calculated, violent but not personal. It was as if he was following a terrible script written without his knowledge or consent.
And the most remarkable detail was that Ken severely injured both his hands during the violence, cutting tendons that would require surgery. The injuries should have been agonizing, yet he showed no awareness of the pain, no reaction to wounds that should have been unbearable. Blood flowed from his hands, but he seemed completely oblivious.
When the violence finally ended, Ken found himself standing in the woods' hallway, confused and disoriented. It was as if he had suddenly awakened from a deep sleep to find himself in a nightmare. The house around him was chaos, overturned furniture, blood, destruction. His beloved mother-in-law lay dead in the bedroom while Dennis fought for his life beside her. What happened next was crucial to this eventual defense. Instead of fleeing or trying to cover up what had occurred, Ken seemed driven by one single overwhelming need. He had to get the police.
Still covered in blood, still bleeding from his wounded hands, he stumbled to his car and began driving. But instead of going home, Ken drove directly to the nearest police station. He walked to the front doors of the Metro Toronto Police Station, still wearing blood-stained clothes, his hands leaving red prints on everything he touched. To the desk sergeant, he must have looked like something from a horror movie, a tall, powerful man covered in blood, speaking confused sentences about something terrible.
Quote, "I think I've killed some people," Ken told the stunned officers. Quote, "My hands, look at my hands." Even then, surrounded by police and harsh fluorescent lights, Ken seemed unaware of his injuries. Only when medical personnel arrived did the full severity of the tendon damage become apparent.
During questioning, Ken's responses were confused and fragmented. He spoke about the woods as if they were still alive, expressing concern for their welfare and asking when he could see them. And when detectives pressed for details, he could offer only scattered memories and growing horror as reality began to penetrate his consciousness. As news of the brutal attack spread through Scarborough, the community reacted with shock and disbelief. Dennis and Barbara Woods had been beloved members of the neighborhood, quiet, generous people who'd never caused trouble for anyone.
Detective Inspector William Taggart led the investigation with meticulous care. The crime scene was processed thoroughly, every drop of blood analyzed, every piece of evidence cataloged. The violence had been so extensive that the investigators needed days to piece together what had happened.
And Ken was charged with first-degree murder and attempted murder. Under normal circumstances, such charges would be straightforward. The evidence was overwhelming. His fingerprints were throughout the house, his blood was mixed with his victims, and he'd essentially confessed when he walked into the police station.
But as the investigation progressed, certain details troubled the investigators. Ken's apparent lack of motive was particularly puzzling. Unlike many violent cases, there was no history of conflict between Ken and his in-laws. Everyone described their relationship as exceptionally close and loving.
Yeah. Money didn't seem to be the motive either. The Woods were comfortable but not wealthy, and Ken stood to inherit nothing from their deaths. If anything, losing his in-laws would eliminate his best hope for support in dealing with his legal troubles. The gambling debts that had destroyed Ken's life actually gave him reason to want the Woods alive and supportive, not dead. They represented his best chance for getting back on his feet.
Perhaps the most puzzling was Ken's behavior during and after the attacks. Experienced investigators knew that even violent criminals typically showed some awareness. They tried to flee, cover their tracks, create alibis. Ken had done none of these things. Instead, he had driven directly to the police and turned himself in while still covered in blood.
Yeah, I don't know. It's looking like, even it sounds like, I mean, the driving is crazy, but it sounds like
he was under a lot of
sleepwalking.
stress.
I
What
know.
happens under a lot of stress? I have done things. Dude, I have taken whole cartons of eggs and put them in my bed and slept with eggs. Like,
Yeah.
that's weird.
Yes.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I pushed my mother down the stairs, like sleepwalking before.
No, yeah, and no memory.
No
And
memory.
he's so stressed. He's the most stressed that he's ever been, and he had already planned to go there the next day, but he went there, but then he nightmared.
Yeah, it's the motive thing for me. There's literally no motive. It's actually substantially worse that they'd be dead, which is crazy.
Unless he's just like, I'm going down anyways. Let's make it dramatic. But why would you do that?
But
you wouldn't.
Yeah, that's not it. So, well, as Ken awaited trial, his defense team began exploring an extraordinary possibility suggested by his bizarre behavior and apparent memory loss. Could he have been sleepwalking during the attacks?
Sorry, I farted in my brain there.
It's fine.
The ideas seemed almost ridiculous. How could someone drive 14 miles, navigate complex streets, and commit extreme violence while unconscious? But as lawyers delved into Ken's medical history and consulted sleep specialists, a compelling picture emerged. I
like compelling better. Compelling picture.
Dude, I did one the other day and I was reading this doc and I said a salt circle around your bread instead of your bed. And I'm like, oh.
Adding letters is fun sometimes. It's fine. Well, Ken's family history was full of documented sleep disorders. His grandfather had been a notorious sleepwalker who would regularly get up at night, go to the kitchen, and prepare elaborate meals he never ate. I've also made like peanut butter sandwiches and stuff in my sleep when I was a kid and stuff. It's crazy.
I never
what
made
you can
stuff,
do in
but
your
I'd
sleep.
eat.
Yeah, right? Other relatives described episodes of sleep talking, sleepwalking, and other unusual nighttime behaviors that seemed to run in the family.
Ken himself had a documented history of sleepwalking dating back to his childhood. His parents recalled finding him wandering in the house at night, sometimes discovering him in the morning sleeping in strange places with no memory of how he'd gotten there.
The defense team assembled an impressive group of medical experts to evaluate Ken's case. And Dr. Roger Broughton, a renowned neurophysiologist from the University of Ottawa, conducted extensive sleep studies and concluded that Ken showed clear signs of parasomnia. His brainwave patterns during sleep were abnormal, showing the fragmented sleep cycles associated with sleepwalking.
Dr. Broughton and his colleagues theorized that the extreme stress Ken had been under, criminal charges, financial ruin, shame over his gambling addiction, could have triggered an episode of violent sleepwalking. They pointed to documented cases of sleepwalkers performing complex actions, including driving cars while completely unconscious.
If you're like
when I'm stressed, I don't need to trigger it. When I am in a stressful situation, I sleepwalk. I'm never violent.
Yeah.
I never am. But like, I'm talking, I'm walking, I'm saying crazy shit.
Yeah. It's crazy. The medical evidence was compelling, but it raised profound questions about criminal responsibility. If Ken had indeed been unconscious during the attacks, could he be held legally accountable? The case would force the Canadian legal system to grapple with fundamental questions about consciousness, free will, and criminal intent.
When Kenneth Park's trial began in Ontario Supreme Court, it immediately captured national attention. The combination of brutal violence, a seemingly impossible defense, and a cutting-edge sleep science made it irresistible to media and public alike.
And the prosecution, led by Crown Attorney Michael Code, absolutely amazing name, faced the unusual challenge of proving not just that Ken had committed the crimes, which was never disputed, but that he'd been conscious when he did so. They brought in sleep experts who testified that Ken's complex actions were inconsistent with sleepwalking. They argued that driving 14 miles, navigating traffic, using a key, and selecting weapons all required conscious decision-making.
Dude, have you ever driven and then you're just like, whoa, I was not here for the past 10 minutes?
Most times.
I've driven to like Iowa, West Virginia, and I'll look and I'll be like, oh, that was an hour and a half.
Right?
Good.
So no music. It's just like locked in. So weird.
Yeah, but yeah. Or it's like reading a book. You've gone 3 pages and you're like,
yeah, I think
I don't know what I did.
NPC mode simulation or something. I don't know.
Yep. The Crown emphasized the apparent planning involved. Ken had gone to the garage for the tire iron, then to the kitchen for a knife. He targeted specific victims and used multiple weapons. Such goal-directed behavior, they argued, was impossible during sleepwalking.
But the defense, led by Delmar Doucette.
I have a friend and she says Doucette. That's her last name.
Right? Okay. But the defense, led by Delmar Doucette, also a really cool name, presented a compelling alternative. They argued that sleepwalking was far more complex than most people understood, and that medical evidence clearly showed Ken had been unconscious.
Dr. Broughton's testimony was particularly powerful. He explained how the brain could enter a state where the motor cortex was active while higher cognitive functions remained asleep. In this state, a person could perform complex actions while having no conscious awareness or memory.
The defense also emphasized Ken's lack of motive and his behavior after the attacks. They argued that a conscious murderer would have tried to flee or cover up the crime, not drive directly to the police and confess. Ken's apparent lack of awareness of his severe hand injuries was further evidence he'd been unconscious throughout.
After 9 hours of deliberation, the jury returned with a verdict that sent shockwaves through the legal community. They found Kenneth Parks not guilty of murder and not guilty of attempted murder, accepting that he had been sleepwalking during the attacks and therefore couldn't be held criminally responsible.
Wild. The verdict met with astonishment, controversy, and acclaim. Some hailed it as a triumph of scientific understanding over primitive concepts of responsibility. Others condemned it as a wealthy defendant using expensive experts to escape justice. He wasn't
He
wealthy.
doesn't have money.
He wasn't wealthy.
Not anymore.
Mm-mm.
The Woods family, devastated by their loss and Dennis's ongoing recovery, struggled to understand how their beloved son-in-law could escape punishment for such terrible acts. Dennis, who'd survived but suffered lasting trauma, expressed bewilderment at a justice system that seemed to treat his wife's killer as a victim.
But the verdict was far from the end. The Crown immediately appealed to the Ontario Court of Appeal, arguing that the trial judge had erred in allowing the sleepwalking defense. The case would ultimately reach the Supreme Court of Canada, where it would establish legal precedents influencing courts worldwide.
On August 27, 1992, the Supreme Court of Canada handed down a decision that would fundamentally reshape the legal understanding of consciousness and responsibility. In a unanimous ruling by the Chief Justice Antonio Lamar, the court upheld Ken's acquittal and established sleepwalking as a non-insane automatism.
Automatism. The decision was groundbreaking in several ways. First, it established that sleepwalking wasn't mental illness, but rather temporary unconsciousness that could affect anyone under the right circumstances. And this meant successful sleepwalking defendants wouldn't be confined to psychiatric institutions, but would be free to return to normal life, which, makes sense. Because it's not like you're not crazy, it's just your unconscious mind making you do things. If anything, you should maybe be I don't know, medicated, but you
sleep
should
somewhere else or meds.
Yeah, I don't think you can force somebody to be medicated. I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting.
Well, a lot of meds make it worse.
Yeah, totally.
A lot of meds make it worse.
Yeah.
You just gotta, you have a dome that you have to go in when you sleep and you can't get out of the dome.
Yeah, totally.
The court held that defendants claiming to be unconscious must prove their condition on a balance of probabilities. But once that threshold was met, prosecution would have to prove consciousness beyond a reasonable doubt.
Interesting. Most importantly, the Supreme Court addressed broader philosophical questions raised by the case. Chief Justice Lamar wrote that, quote, "The state is not entitled to convict an accused whose actions were not the product of conscious violation." The court acknowledged this principle might sometimes produce outcomes that seemed unfair to victims, but insisted that fundamental justice required that only voluntary acts be subject to criminal punishment, which, again, makes sense. Mm-hmm. And the decision established Canada as a leader in legal recognition of sleepwalking defenses, and the Parks case became a landmark precedent cited worldwide.
Kenneth Parks walked free on August 27, 1992, nearly 5.5 years after the brutal attack that shattered so many lives. The legal battle was over, but human consequences would last forever. Barbara Woods was still dead. Dennis was still struggling with trauma, and a family had been torn apart by unconscious violence.
And Ken returned to life with Karen and their daughter, though the strain of legal proceedings and the weight of what happened had damaged their marriage. The knowledge that he'd killed someone, even unconsciously, was a burden that would follow him forever.
The Parks case forced society to confront uncomfortable questions about consciousness and responsibility. If someone could commit terrible acts while unconscious, what did that say about free will and moral accountability? How could the legal system protect society while honoring the principle that punishment requires conscious wrongdoing?
For case researchers, the case represented both vindication and responsibility. Legal recognition of sleepwalking validated decades of scientific research into sleep disorders, but it also placed new obligations on the medical community to develop better diagnostic tools and treatments.
Perhaps most importantly, the case reminded everyone that the human mind remains one of science's greatest mysteries. Despite centuries of study, there is still so much experts don't understand about consciousness, sleep, and the complex interplay between mind and body.
And Kenneth Parkes had committed an unspeakable act against people who loved him, yet Canada's highest court determined he bore no criminal responsibility. It was a conclusion that challenged conventional notions of justice while affirming fundamental principles about consciousness and free will that form the foundation of criminal law. So
Here's my
interesting.
thing.
Yeah.
So there's so much stress, he kills them.
Yeah.
So then he's killed them. Now he's more stressed out. There's more problems.
No, I'm with you.
Did he sleepwalk again?
My first thought is like, I could not sleep next to this person. They would need to be.
But no, did he do it again? Like, was he sleepwalking after this, or was it a single event? Like, they talked about it happening when he was younger, but
Yeah.
this was triggered by extreme stress. Well, he's under more stress. When he was in custody,
Mm-hmm.
did he bludgeon his sleeping partner? Why didn't it happen? You're even more stressed.
I know. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It's like all you can think of is, you have to think of motive. Why? What do you gain? What's the purpose? Like, unless you're a serial killer where you just get pleasure from murdering people, which, assuming this guy probably isn't,
No.
it doesn't really add up. I mean, it's absolutely crazy to think someone could drive 14 miles, like, get a key out, go into a house, get a tire iron. It's crazy. Like, I don't know.
It's just one of those ones where it's like, we'll never really know.
No, but I mean, I don't know. You imagine like how much time these people had to put into this case and have to come up with like, it seems like he didn't do it. And like with his history and everything, I don't know. It is kind of crazy. But like there was only one time where I was violent. I only pushed my mom down the stairs once. I never did anything else ever to anyone.
Yeah, I've never done anything violent. I've made jokes. I told Adam to cut his peen off. I've like aggressively give fingers, but I've never really touched people.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely possible. But yeah, from that, like after he's free, if I'm his wife, I'm like, you are sleeping in a room that I'm locking from the outside, no windows. Like, bitch,
maybe
you're
they
in
did
jail when you're asleep.
Maybe they did. I'm so curious.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. It didn't say, but yeah, interesting nonetheless, though. Yep. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Oh man, if I kill, oh my gosh, I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I killed my partner in the sleep, or my partner's parents, my own parent. I don't know.
No. I saw sleepwalking videos the other day of this woman, and she had a baby, and she's like sleep deprived, and it was her changing an invisible baby. Oh. Like she'd take her baby out, change them, put them back, then pick them up, change them again, and put them back again. I'm like,
oh yeah.
That's why I'm glad the nursery's in our bedroom and Adam is there and stuff. Cause I'm fine to be around the baby. I don't think anything weird's gonna happen, but we'll see. Nothing bad.
No, for sure. But no, I've seen videos of that, like on their, like people that have cameras in their house and stuff, or the nanny cams, and you see the moms like just sleepwalking literally because they're so sleep deprived. I'm like, that's really scary because like you could just do anything in your sleep. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, just another thing to be stressed about.
One more.
Why am I yawning right now? I had a good sleep last night.
And now, sleepy babies, over this sleepy episode, this takes us to a sleepy bedtime story.
Yeah, a sleepy bedtime story. Sleepy bedtime story. You started off.
Okay. Once upon a time, 3 girls decided, since it was the last weekend before grade 12 was going to start, that they were going to take a tent and go and camp underneath the stars.
One of the girls, we'll call her Cassidy, was the rebel of the group. And she decided to bring along a little fun. And that fun was in the form of a pill.
But this wasn't any normal pill you bought off the streets. No, she had stolen this out of her stepmother's cabinet.
She couldn't remember the name that was on the bottle, but she knew you had to take it before sleeping. That's what she knew. And she also knew if you took it before sleeping and tried to stay up, weird stuff would happen.
Since there was 3 of them but only 1 pill, she took sticks and broke one of them shorter than the other and held them in her hand. And someone needed to play roulette to find out who was the lucky winner.
So Cassidy held up the sticks when they sat in front of their tent, and it was about midnight at this point. And there was Anna and Sarah. Sarah picked the first stick, and it was long.
Anna picked the second stick, and it was short. She was the quiet one of the group, the one who wanted to do this the least. She accepted her fate.
Cassidy laughed her ass off, ready to witness whatever was about to happen to Anna.
The girls passed her a Smirnoff cooler and chanted, "Swallow, swallow, swallow, swallow." Reluctantly, she did, after trying to hunt her under her tongue, but it didn't work, and she swallowed it anyways.
I like the insurance that you just put there. I like it. I like it, though. So, they sat around a campfire and waited. Waited until they got tired. And the first one to get tired was Anna. But the other girls didn't want her to fall asleep, so they tried to keep her awake.
They started by throwing little rocks at her, but when that didn't work, they started flicking embers from the fire into her skirt, burning her to keep her awake. The energy had changed.
It shifted from playful friends to evil intentions. And after flicking the embers at her, they both grabbed sticks that might as well have been logs and started to hit her on her side and on her head.
What they didn't know was that the pill had really started to kick in. And Anna's what is that word? And Anna's personality had shifted. She wasn't quiet. She wasn't meek. She was losing her inhibitions.
So as she was being beaten by the other girls, she started to not feel it anymore. But what she did feel was a sense of rage she had never thought was possible.
In that moment, she knew she didn't like those girls. She didn't like the way that they made her take the pill. She didn't like the way they treated her at school. She felt like they had brought her there for a reason.
And that's when she put her hand out and caught one of the sticks that Cassidy was hitting her with. And she stared at Cassidy, and Cassidy was shocked. And she ripped the stick out of her hand.
Cassidy and Anna's eyes connected, and she saw the fire reflecting in Anna's eyes. But the fire wasn't the fire in front of them. It was the fire in her soul. She took that giant log and started to run at Cassidy.
Full tilt. On all fours. She sprinted, and Cassidy sprinted away from her. And as soon as she almost reached the tree line, Anna leaped and landed on top of Cassidy. All while Sarah watched in bewilderment.
Sarah saw them dead halt. She didn't understand what happened till she saw the back of Cassidy's pink shirt turn red. Anna had slammed her into a jagged branch, shoving her on it like a skewer. She then scuttled up the tree.
Sarah stood with the fire, embers making her face glow and the sweat beaded down her neck and her face. She was shaking in fear, gripping the log. And that's when she heard something above her.
The trees above her rustled as she looked. She tried so hard to spot Anna, but it was too late when she did. She jumped down at her.
Turns out Anna had her own log. And when Sarah looked up and opened her mouth to scream, before she could scream, the log went into her mouth. Final Destination style.
Anna stared down from above at both of the girls' lifeless body, and for the first time in her teen angst, she felt satisfied.
And what Cassidy didn't realize is that she had given Anna a pill that her mother was experimenting on because she was a scientist.
It was made out of sleep medication and angel dust and steroids.
Baby tears. Demon dust.
The end. The end.
The end. Ultimate revenge.
I like that one.
Yeah, it was fun.
That was fun.
It was fun. We had to cut out things because Selena went crazy with it. We should have like uncensored bedtime stories that we should post somewhere or something. Because we get violent with it sometimes and we gotta cut it.
We should make some real dark shit.
Yeah.
Put it behind a paywall, baby.
Yeah.
Feet and scary stories.
Yeah.
Guys, until next time, go to bed.
Go to bed.
Bugs.
God, hopefully you can sleep after all the nightmare fuel we just pumped into you. Sorry about that.
What a night.
What a night.
All right.
Bye, babies. Bye.